We're here in London at the Whole Education Conference to interview the Baroness Estelle Morris.
Who's first?
As a former teacher, what inside knowledge did you bring to your former roles in the House of Parliament as Secretary of State for Education and Skills? Was there anything you learnt while in Parliament?
I think I learned from both. So first of all, I was a teacher, and then when I became a member of Parliament, I then began to work in education as an education minister. And I think being a teacher really did help me. I think if you think as a teacher, one of the things you're doing is explaining to people all the time. I think you need to learn to listen as a teacher, and you obviously do a lot of talking. So when I used to be dealing with my constituents, I think the fact that I'd been a teacher and was used to dealing with people helped. And then when I became an education minister, I know it helped that I knew what it was like to be a teacher. And for me, one of the most important things was that when I was talking to the teachers, they knew I'd been in a school. So I think that made the relationship between us a bit better than it might have been.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier while you were speaking that you can have engagement without progress, but you never get the very best progress without engagement. Could you explain to us a little bit more about what you meant when you said that?
I think there's an argument in education. We want children to do better, so we want them to pass their exams. That's normally how it's termed. And sometimes children, young people can get a good exam pass, but they've not enjoyed it. They've not enjoyed their learning, and they've not enjoyed education. Sometimes they have a really great time at school, but they don't get their exams. And there's always a debate about which side you should lean to. So I think the point of that phrase was that if children are engaged, so they're involved in their learning, and they enjoy it because of that, they're inevitably, or usually if the engagement is good and the teaching is good, they're likely to get better results as well. So it's both, not either.
As pupils attending school daily throughout the working week, we would like to ask you how you think that education could be improved within schools to make it the best in the world.
Gosh, there's a lot of things, but first of all, I think most of our schools are good. I don't start from the viewpoint that all our schools are awful. I think most of them are good. But it's certainly true that some are better than others. So I think I'd say, let me try and choose three things. One, I'd really like it so that all our schools were as good as the best. And that meant they had decent buildings, nice, warm, bright atmosphere, good facilities, and more than that, absolutely excellent teachers. So that's about improving the teachers. Secondly, I think we could make it better by giving them things beyond the curriculum. Our best schools have lots of extracurricular activities, and I think all our schools should do that. And thirdly, like you are now, I think children need a voice. And I think they've got to feel that they own their school and their education in a way. Those are my three top things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is learning outside of school helping students to gain more knowledge?
Absolutely. I'm a great believer in that sometimes you learn when you don't know you're learning, and you learn so many things outside school. But I think that one of the most effective ways of learning is if your teachers in school can sort of link with the learning you do outside. So if you're doing something outside whereby you're learning, you tell your teachers about it. Good teachers can build on that and involve it in the learning. But if when you come into school you think, well, now I'm learning, and when you go home you think, now I'm not learning, that'd be a very strange world. So I think it does help. And the nicest kind of learning is when you don't know you're doing it, and sometimes that's what happens when you're outside school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, in the presentation that you made, you talked a lot about the past and the future. What do you hope to achieve in the future of your educational career?
Well, I suppose I think I want to remind people how far we've come, to give them confidence about our ability to change. But more than that, the one thing I would say is that I'd help to work with others to find a way of what we call spreading good practice, disseminating knowledge. Because I don't think the problem with our education system is that we haven't got anything good going on. I think our problem with the education system is we don't know how to spread the good things from a few schools to all schools.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.